Like a spoiled brat? I'll take you out of my $1 million inheritance. My sister Emily is disabled, and because of that, my parents dedicated themselves 100% to her, leaving my other siblings, Max, Lisa, Chris and I to fend for ourselves. Emily has been labeled as disabled by my parents her whole life. Because of this, my parents dedicated themselves 100% to catering to her every need and want, essentially abandoning the rest of us siblings to fend for ourselves growing up. No doctors would actually validate Emily has a real disability. I remember family gossip about how Emily didn't walk until age 5 and didn't talk until age 7. But couldn't she simply have been a late bloomer as a baby and young child? She clearly caught up developmentally by adulthood. When my older brother Max left for college when I was 15, I suddenly became the default caretaker for my younger siblings on top of having to take care of all household chores. I want to make clear that Emily's supposed disability does not actually stop her from functioning like any other person. She has no mental impairments and requires no special assistance, supervision, or 24/7 care. However, my parents have spoiled Emily rotten her whole life and she is very rude, mean, entitled, and manipulative. They raised her with the mentality that her disability means she is allowed to do whatever she wants without consequences and everyone else needs to bend over backwards to accommodate her. My grandparents on my mom's side passed away 3 years ago when I was 21 and they left me their entire estate of around $6 million. They were quite wealthy. I know the reason I received the entire inheritance is because when my grandparents were ill, my older brother Max suddenly contacted them after almost 10 years of zero contact just to ask how much money he would be getting. I am completely estranged from Max at this point for many reasons. My grandparents were very aware of how terribly my mother had treated me and my other siblings growing up while favoring Emily. As a result, they disowned my mother from their will out of anger towards her. They were also very old-fashioned and religious people. When my sister Lisa came out as bisexual at 14 and my brother Chris came out as gay at 17, this was the final straw for them. After I moved away to college, I went completely no contact with my parents and the rest of my family except for my siblings Lisa and Chris. When they each started college as well, I offered to cover all of their living expenses and tuition as long as they kept up their academics. They were struggling financially, so they gladly accepted my support. I also helped my best friend Lola start her own small business by investing some of the inheritance money. Basically, I have used the inheritance to support the people who are important to me and who have supported me. I have not spoken to or interacted with my parents in about 6 years now. I never outright blocked their numbers, but they've never once tried to call or text me this whole time. This year, my younger sister Emily started college. In less than 4 months, she managed to burn through her entire college savings fund that my parents had set up for her. I'm talking over $500,000, gone. Why? Because Emily has always been a spoiled brat and she felt designer clothes and bags were more important than paying tuition or rent. On top of that, Emily apparently is doing horribly in her classes, likely because she barely ever attends lectures or studies. At this rate, she will absolutely either be expelled or held back from advancing. But my parents had never disciplined her or held her accountable her whole life. So about 2 weeks ago, my mother suddenly called me up out of the blue. She didn't politely ask, she demanded I start covering Emily's college costs and living expenses, just as I was doing for Chris and Lisa.